We've now installed our Google Cloud CLI, configured it, logged in with Docker, built our test image, and then ran our tests. So now we want to start focusing on doing our actual deployment, assuming that all the tests were successfully ran. Now, to actually do our deployment, we're going to write a script separate from the travis.yaml file. And inside that script, we're going to put in a series of commands that are going to build our images one by one, tag each one, push them to Docker Hub, apply all of our config files inside the K8s folder, and then do that imperative set image command for each of our deployments. So all this stuff right here, all going to be executed inside of a separate test file, or excuse me, a separate script file apart from our travis.yaml file. Now, why is this going to be in a separate file? Well, I want you to recall how we put together our travis.yaml file for the Elastic Beanstalk project. And I'm going to pull it on the screen here very quickly. All right, so here's the old travis.yaml file, and just to be really clear, I labeled it right here. This is old stuff from the last project, not relevant to what we're doing right now. So on our previous project, we put together the deploy section, and we specified a provider. When we specified the provider, that essentially told Travis to take all of our code and use this pre-established deployment script that Travis maintains to take all of our code and send it off to Elastic Beanstalk. Now, Travis does not have a similar built-in provider for deploying code off to a Kubernetes cluster. If we want to deploy to Kubernetes, we have to put together our own custom series of commands and tell Travis, hey, just run these commands for us. We'll take care of the deployment, just run these. So that's essentially what we're going to do. There is no built-in provider for Kubernetes. We have to put our own solution together from scratch. All right, so to do so, I'm going to open up my travis.yaml file for our project. Inside of here, we're going to put together our deploy section. But our deploy section is going to look a little bit different than the previous ones. I'll specify a provider of script, like so. So before we had said Elastic Beanstalk, this time we're saying script, which is telling Travis that, hey, don't try to do anything with our project. We'll take care of the deployment. Just run the script file for us. We then have to specify a command to run that's going to essentially be the script that we want Travis to execute. So I'm going to say bash./deploy.sh. So this is essentially saying that you and I are going to put together a custom script file called deploy.sh. And inside of that custom script file, we're going to write out a series of commands that's going to go through all those steps that we had just mentioned. Building our images, applying configs, and imperatively setting images on each deployment. So this right here, again, is what's telling Travis, don't worry about the deployment, just run this command for us right here, and we'll do the deployment ourselves. Now there is one other option on here that we are going to specify. We'll say on branch master. So remember, if we are pushing up some like feature or development branch, we probably don't want to execute this deploy script. We only want to do our deployment if we are pushing up branch master. So only if we're working on the master branch do we want to run this command right here, which is going to run that deploy script file and attempt to deploy all of our new images out. All right, so then now the last thing I want to do in this section is very quickly create this deploy.sh file inside of our root project directory. So inside the root project, I'll create deploy.sh. So again, inside of here, we're going to put together our series of commands that's going to build the images, tag them, push them, apply configs, and so on. So let's take a quick pause right here. When we come back to the next section, we're going to start filling out our implementation for our deploy script.